Hey, welcome back to the channel. I am Sherman Rivers. In this video, I wanted to talk about something. I had a recent conversation. Topic was freedom. Part of that conversation centered around all the talk you hear about freedom, and a lot of times people who talk about it don't really understand what it really means, what freedom really means. But that's not the focus of this video. This is for the ones who do understand freedom. However, there's this fear. That's what I want to talk about in this video, the fear of freedom. More common than we think. Matter of fact, I think the majority of people are actually afraid of freedom. If you pay attention around you, you can see it. You can literally see how most people around you are actually afraid to truly be free. And why is that? I think the reason for that is twofold, actually. First is that freedom is not free. There's a price for freedom. And that price scares the heck out of a lot of people. You see, there's a direct correlation between freedom and security. I talked about this in my book. I want to kind of lay it out for you here. Freedom's not free, and there's a price for freedom, and that price is often security. Well, what do I mean by that? Think about this for a second. What is the most secure place in the country, in the United States? If you had to stop and think about it, what's probably the most secure place? 24 hours a day, most of the time. And if you think about it, it's probably going to be prison, a maximum security prison. It's right there in the name, security. But the people that are in the maximum security prison are not free. Matter of fact, they're probably less free than everybody else. But they have maximum security. Direct correlation. It's like a scale. When one side goes up, i.e., you become more free, you have less security. And when the other side goes up, things are more secure, you have less freedom. And you can see how that plays out daily in your job, in your daily living. You got a secure job, right? You can't come and go as you please for the most part. Not really all that free. I tell you when to be there, what time to be there, what you're going to do when you're there, how you're going to look while you're there. I got a whole host of rules, office rules, right? Not really free. You do what I tell you to do, but you're secure. You're going to get that paycheck every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it is for you. Family's going to be fed. Rent or mortgage is going to be paid. You will have security. All you have to do is give up that freedom. And if you remember, I said it was going to be a twofold thing. The other part is responsibility. Right? When you're free, you become more responsible. The more freedom you have, the more responsibility you have. Case in point, you take a lion and put him in a cage. He's not free, but he no longer has the responsibility for hunting for his own food. You take that responsibility away from him, but you lock him up. So he's not free, but he has no responsibility other than to sit there and look like a lion for other people to look at him. He's not really doing much lioning anymore, but he looks like one. And you think that's what you're looking at. But he's captive, he's locked up, he has no freedom. Therefore, he has no responsibility. Opposite is true too. When you're out in the world and you're free, say you lived on an island by yourself, you're responsible for feeding yourself, hunting whatever it is that you need to hunt, fishing for whatever it is you need to fish for, gathering out in nature. You got a whole host of responsibilities that society can kind of help you with, take care of for you. But when you're free from that society and you're out there on your own, Responsibility is all on you. You don't get it done, you die. Simple as that. And then there's a whole host of other fears. I like to sum them up with Napoleon Hill's 6 Ghosts of Fear. If you haven't read Napoleon Hill, it's a really good read, good author, a lot of good information in there, insightful stuff. Some you may agree with or may not agree with, but nevertheless, good reading. And the first ghost of fear that Napoleon Hill talks about is the fear of poverty. So why would somebody voluntarily give up that freedom, like that cubicle, or like the other constraints that you might find in society or within a relationship? Fear of poverty. Who wants to be poor? Who wants to be broke? And even if it doesn't seem like it's super likely, the fear's still there. There's always that big what if. If you lose that resources, or those resources, and something happens, and you go broke, who's gonna help you pay those bills? Who's gonna help you pay for that food? Fear of poverty. It is real. Another fear that he talks about, second ghost, is the fear of criticism. This is deep here, but typically the more free you are as an individual, I don't want to say the more susceptible you are, but the more apt you are to be criticized. A lot of people have something to say. Why? Because you are living the opposite of their chosen lifestyle. A lot of times they wish they could do what you do. So they think of every reason why it can't work, or it's not a good decision, not a good choice. And really, all they're doing is telling you why they can't do what you do. Freedom brings with it criticism. You want to be free? Prepare to be criticized. Some people have a fear that, makes them uncomfortable. They'd rather be locked up in life than free, as long as nobody's criticizing them. Another one of Napoleon Hill's 6 Ghosts of Fear was the fear of ill health. I think that's a pretty easy one to explain. So you're free, which means you are independent. The level of dependence has decreased. But when the level of dependence decreases, so does the level of interdependence. So in other words, you could end up by yourself. Maybe not always, but for a time. Going your own path, traveling your own road. What happens if you get sick along the way? Who's going to take care of you? Who's going to take care of you? Just you. What happens if you get sick? That can be a pretty scary thought, especially as you get older. When you're younger, you're invulnerable. You're like Superman. The older you get, the more real it gets. Right? Breaking a leg when you're 60, it's a whole lot different than breaking your leg when you're 20. Whole different ball game. If you were in your 20s, just wait for it. It's coming. Should you be blessed to live that long. And if you're a little bit older, you know exactly where I'm coming from. But what happens if you get sick? Who's going to take care of you? You're free, but guess what? It's a little bit less security now. You might interpret that as danger. It could be a source of stress, worry, that fear. So a lot of people will voluntarily give up their freedom just to make sure that they feel, at least they think, somebody will be there to take care of them if they get sick. The fourth ghost of fear that Napoleon Hill talks about is the fear of the loss of love. As you set up on your journey of freedom, not everybody can go with you. Don't even want to take everybody with you. Again, you might have to set out on that path by yourself. But what if you love the one you're with? What if you care about others? And since you made a decision to move in a direction that they don't feel comfortable with, they don't agree with. That relationship ends. And now you've lost that love. Adoration falls in here too. A lot of people that adore you, just another word for love, maybe even look up to you, their opinion may change. And you might be afraid of that. You know, they love me now, but if I do something different, they may not love me anymore. It might be unbearable. It's enough for some people to give up that freedom and accept that security, you know, that maximum security. I'm loved, at least I feel like I'm loved. That's all I need. Doesn't matter what I want, just so long as I'm not ostracized from that individual or that community. So fear of loss of love. Another fear that Napoleon Hill talked about was the fear of old age. That's an easy one. It's kind of a combination of a lot of the other ones. Fear of getting older, getting sick, not having the funds to take care of yourself, you know, not being as strong as you once were, feeling vulnerable because you can't protect yourself. At least you feel like you can't protect yourself like you once could. All of that comes upon with age. The older you get, the more susceptible you are to that, the more vulnerable you feel. Just the fear of old age. And talk to an old lion, he might say he'd rather be in a cell than out here in the wild with these hyenas looking at him, because sooner or later they're gonna come get him. So just thinking about that doesn't mean that's how it's gonna be. You can set yourself up in such a way that you can alleviate a lot of that, protect yourself from a lot of that, but you will get old. We all know that, and the fear of that can be enough to make some people say, I don't need that freedom. I just need security. And the last of the 6 ghosts of fear that Napoleon Hill talked about was the fear of death. The inevitable. We're all gonna die. For some reason, a lot of people say, I don't want to die alone. But the funny part about that is, you will die alone. I can promise you that you will die alone. Even if somebody was in the car with you when the car exploded and died at the exact same instance, you will die alone. You came into this world alone, you leave this world alone. That's just the nuts and bolts of it. There's no way around that. You can't take it with you. You can't take them with you. Ultimately, you will die alone. I know that's probably not what a lot of people want to hear, but it's the truth. But for some reason, you know, that fear of death puts people in a place where I guess they think that as long as they have loved ones around, that somehow the death is going to be easier. It's going to be more pleasant. I want to die on my deathbed with all my loved ones around, holding my hand. And just a side note about that, I was watching a video where this man and this woman had been married 70 years. 70 years. And he's on his deathbed. He can't really speak. And she's steadily talking to him. And she's asking him questions. And I know me personally, when there's certain times I just don't want you asking me questions. Don't ask me shit. Don't expect me to respond. If you want to be loving and nurturing, and I'm feeling like that, just tell me whatever it was that you wanted to say. Or say something nice, you know, comfort me, but don't ask me no questions. You see, I can't talk, right? Why would you ask me a question when you know I can't talk, I can't speak? But she's in his face, right? She's like 2 inches away from his face. And a lot of people, you see it in the comments, they're thinking how romantic it is and everything else. And I'm thinking to myself, he's probably thinking, I'm just trying to breathe, man. I already can't breathe. And now you 2 inches from my face, breathing all in my face, just disrupting the airflow. And what if her breath stinks? Now imagine you die like that. You got somebody 2 inches from your face, all up in your face, just breathing their stank breath in your face, telling you how much they love you. You might try to romanticize it, but that's not how I wanna go out. Anyway, fear of death. That's the last of Napoleon Hill's 6 fears that we can reference when we think about that. Freedom versus security. So I said that to say all of this. Being afraid to be free really makes sense. I would not call that cowardice. I would not try to attach some type of negative attribute to it. It makes perfect sense. It's a lot to think about when it comes to being free in any capacity in your life. If you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be single for the rest of your life, if you want to never have kids, whatever it is you want to be free from, there's always the other side of it. But I do believe that most people have an innate fear of freedom. You know, society provides comforts. The average lifestyle, regardless of how bad people complain nowadays, is actually pretty damn comfortable. So it makes sense to be afraid. Are you afraid? Do you have a fear of freedom? Let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your input on that. But in any case, do something today to make yourself better. Not a day goes by that I don't do something to become better. If I know anything, it's this. When we become better people, our world will become a better place. Peace.